Hello, property managers of North Carolina. It's State Representative John Bradford. I'm also a professional property manager, having my RMP and NPM designations from NARPM. I can't be with you there today because I'm actually in legislative session. I am going to try and stop by and say hello, but my schedule changes all the time, so we're doing a video instead because I want to update you on some of the things I'm doing as it relates to tenant-landlord law. I hope you have a great conference. And I hope to see all of you soon, but let me go through some of the things I'm working on. So in my hands, I am holding some draft legislation that I'm working on. This legislation comes to me by way of the North Carolina Apartment Association, and I'll also be working with the North Carolina Association of Realtors. And this legislation will do a couple of things. Now, mind you, I have to file it, I have to pass it out of the House, it has to go to the Senate, I have to pass it out of the Senate, and then it finally has to go to the governor, and he would have to sign it to make it law. But we got to start somewhere. So the things I'm working on is this bill would draft enacting a statewide prohibition on state and local governments from passing laws that make source of income a protected characteristic under fair housing laws. This would preserve North Carolina's rent regulation laws. It is going to strengthen a statewide prohibition on inclusionary zoning. It will explore legislative solutions to support housing affordability and stability through a permanent statewide rental assistance program to support renters who fall behind on their rent. That way it doesn't necessarily become the burden of the property manager in terms of trying to have to do workouts on rents. It would be coming from a state program. This legislation would help support prohibiting local governments from adopting unfunded clean energy mandates, such as requiring landlords to install charging stations for cars. That's something that a property manager or a landlord or an asset owner should be able to do on their own, but they should not have big government telling them that they have to do it, especially when they're unfunded mandates. When it comes to assistance animals, many of you know I'm also the founder and CEO of Pet Screening. It was an issue I saw in the industry, so I created that company to help the entire rental housing industry navigate that. Here in North Carolina, we do need to fine-tune our regulations to be more standardized and in alignment with the federal government guidelines, and so I will include that as well. And then lastly, when it comes to court fees, I know everyone knows because you're professional property managers, there's a maximum cap of 15% that you can only charge for a small claims hearing, and it's capped at 15%. But what happens is a lot of property managers and any attorneys that may be representing them, they win their cases. And then what happens is, as the tenant is leaving the courtroom, there are pro bono attorneys who are working for groups like Legal Aid who are sometimes trolling the hallways trying to convince these individuals to go ahead and appeal to district court. Now, I believe in the appeals process, but a lot of these, frankly, are frivolous. And what it does to property managers is it only extends the time that the bad actor who was just ruled against in the first court hearing is allowed to stay in the property while still not paying any fees, if you will, and that burden falls on the property manager. So what we're going to suggest in this legislation is that if a judge in district court rules that this particular appeal is frivolous in nature, then the plaintiff can actually be awarded all attorney fees. So that way the plaintiff can actually have counsel and have an opportunity to recover some of their legal costs to fight some of these appeals that really are frivolous. And that's not what the appeals process is for. The appeals process is there for a certain reason, but it's not there just to extend the duration of a bad actor, because groups that use taxpayer dollars or any kind of other funding can basically just extend the duration while they're dragging this through the court system. So I think that'll be a welcome change for what we're working on. So in summary, I'm in Raleigh every Monday through Thursday. I represent North Mecklenburg County, which is District 98, but I obviously work for all constituents in North Carolina. I'm known to carry a lot of tenant-landlord legislation, but it's important to know I also work for the North Carolina Justice Center, so I'm working for tenants' rights as well. We just need a healthy balance for everyone. If I can ever help you as a professional property manager, I hope you'll reach out to me. It's an honor and privilege to serve, and while I'm not there doing this in person, we thought a video would be the best thing, and maybe I'll see you at the conference if I can stop by if my schedule permits. Thank you for all that you do, and if you ever need me, please don't hesitate to reach out to my office. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful conference.